See, Stephen A. Smith found himself in the middle of a firestorm after calling out Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett for her policies or lack of, and especially how she represents herself. He questioned whether her fiery approach, the cuss Trump out style, actually helps her district.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine.
Damon K. Jones, and welcome to another edition of the Publisher's Desk. Now, I don't usually spend too much time breaking down celebrity commentary, but this one hit a nerve. See, Stephen A. Smith found himself in the middle of a firestorm after calling out Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett for her policies or lack of, and especially how she represents herself. He questioned whether her fiery approach, the cuss Trump out style, actually helps her district. And let me add, and the greater good of the Democratic Party.
They did not like what I had to say about Representative Jasmine Crockett. She is a Democrat out of Texas, Texas's 30th congressional district. Her work, and her verbiage and all of that stuff speaks for itself. And she has become, a big-time public figure in that. Listen to what I had to say last week, please. You Jasmine Crockett or somebody like that. Ladies, I respect. Intelligent women, no doubt. But how a Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work.
And like clockwork, people jumped out the window calling him misogynistic, a sellout, and worse. But I want to slow this down because this really isn't about Stephen A. or Crockett. This is about what we expect from our representatives, our tone, and the outcomes that we want for our representatives when they put them in office. See, Stephen A. said, and I quote, "I respect her intelligence, but how she chooses to express herself isn't going to help her district." Now let's pause right there. That is a valid question, brothers and sisters. See, Jasmine Crockett represents over 750,000 people in Texas District 30, right in the heart of Dallas. And according to Stephen A., her record is really mixed. Bills introduced, but many still stuck in committee. A lot of visibility, but no legislative movement.
But many of her major efforts are still works in progress, bills stuck in committees, introduced but have stalled, etc., according to Congress.gov. I'm just reading. She faced similar difficulties as a state rep. The Texas legislature's sole black freshman had big plans for her first session. She ended up mostly playing defense, according to them. And what the implication was is that while she's great at fundraising, the challenge for her was cultivating relationships in Congress.
And I want to say, for black people listening, we can't get distracted by a lot of talk and no action. We elected our elected officials to go down to Washington, D.C. or City Hall or the state government to actually produce for our community. But when you are the only Democrat voice in a Republican-dominated state, do you double down on emotion or do you play the long game and bring something back home for your people? Let's talk about the clips that Stephen A. played. Crockett called Trump a white supremacist, thug, a criminal, a piece of, you know what I'm talking about. She's even mocked Governor Greg Abbott, who's in a wheelchair, calling him Governor Hot Wheels.
Governor Hot Wheels. And the only thing that is hot about him is that he's a hot ass mess. And that's going to serve 750,000 constituency in the 30th District of Texas. That is what I was saying. Never mind what she feels. Never mind whatever level of justification you may have towards feeling the way that you feel. When you're in her position, that's not going to get you anywhere. That's what I was saying. What I was saying was this educated, brilliant black woman representing over 750,000 people is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets.
Now, I understand her frustration. Trust me, Black America has every right to be angry at policies that harm our communities. But when you're in Congress, that anger has to be a strategy. It just can't be anger and cussing and all that. Black community did not put Black elected officials there to do that, whether you like my opinion or not. Because here's the truth, which it seems like nobody has caught on to, is that you can't insult your way to influence. You can't shame people into giving you power. Power is negotiated. It's not gifted. And this is one of the reasons why Democrats lack so much power. That's the point Stephen A. was making. And a lot of people didn't want to hear that. Now let's look at what's behind this reaction. See, the problem is too many of us has confused being loud with being effective in the Black community with our Black leadership. See, we love speech, but we ignore the scoreboard and we ignore the outcomes that come behind the speech. See, we like viral moments, not the budget line items.
How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you at the negotiating table trying to get a deal done? How many of you are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill and that's going to work for you? You literally have senators and congressional figures on Capitol Hill on the side of the Republicans telling the networks, whether it's Fox News, News Nation, or anybody else, please, please, please put her front and center on camera. Why would they do that? Because they know it wins for them.
See, Stephen A. wasn't trying to go at Crockett that she shouldn't speak with passion, but what Stephen A. was saying, where's the outcomes? Where's the return for that? Where's the programs in your community? Where's the wins for Black people that you're representing in your district? And that is not just Jasmine Crockett. That's all these politicians throughout the Black community. Where is the outcomes? Where is the benefits for our community? Because we have high crime. Our schools are failing. Our children are lost. We have mental health issues all throughout our community, but all we hear is performance from our Black elected officials. See, it's a hard question, but it's a fair one. And because Stephen A. has that platform status, and when he says something like that, he gets attacked. See, the streets don't need a soundbite. They need results right now. And they need Black elected officials that go into these halls of Congress or go into these political halls, whether it's the state, whether it's local, or whether it's feds, to get us results, not sound bites and rhetoric. And you know what happens when someone like Stephen A. has that type of platform and he says that? Negroes want to cancel him. See, that's when the cancel him crowd come in. Like, I'm disappointed in Willie D. Because, see, Brother Willie D., you should have just called him on the show. Instead of coming out at him. You have a platform. You should have called him on the show. Willie D. Tamika Mallory, forget it. Forget it. Basically, what has she accomplished for the black community? Even to go at Stephen A. Smith. Talking about he was tearing a black woman down. See, when you get in these positions, even if you're a woman, you have to be held accountable for it too, because you will hold a man accountable for it. So when we see black women in power positions not doing their job, we're not supposed to say anything? While people are suffering in their district? People are suffering in their communities? We're not supposed to say anything because it's a black woman in that position? No. If we can't critique our own leadership, so how do we grow, Tamika? How do we grow, Willie? See, every black man who asks a question is labeled a sellout. See, what you're trying to tell us, Tamika, and all you other sisters that want to cancel Stephen A. for critiquing Jasmine Crockett, that a black male voice is not allowed. That a black male voice can't be critical of politics even if a woman is in the seat. See, we got to stop equating accountability with hate. See, because at the end of the day, if you can't be questioned, you can't be trusted. You shouldn't be in that position. Tamika, Willie, and whatever other person who's going at Stephen A., but not looking at what he's actually saying, get rid of the emotions. Willie D., invite Stephen A. Smith on your show. That's what you should do. There's no need to jump on that bandwagon. So let's bring it home. Stephen A. said something that stuck with me. He said, I'm talking about winning.
But my God, isn't it about winning too? Ain't it about getting it done?
See, I like to win. That word winning, when he asked, what are the Democrats in Texas actually getting done? And I'm going to take it to another level. What are the Democrats in America actually getting done? What are the Democrats in the black communities actually getting done? What are the Democrats getting done, period? We have to stop celebrating defiance without direction, passion without productivity, talking points without plans. You can't call yourself a leader if people following you are standing still and starving. Democrats, Jasmine Crockett, Tamika Mallory, Willie D. That's all I'm saying. We have to have some type of accountability. And Stephen said, nothing wrong. See, I'm not here to pick sides. I'm here to call for balance. What Stephen A. represents is the institutional black man, the one who says, learn how to win the game. Jasmine Crockett represents the activist black woman, the one who says, burn down the system if it's unjust. See, both of those energies are necessary. But if they don't eventually meet at the table, one negotiating and the other pushing, then we lose. See, we needed Malcolm and Martin at the same time, passion and policy, fire and focus. But you can't have fire if you're not focused. And if you're not focused, you're not going to have no outcomes. Ms. Crockett. See, black communities are suffering not because of Donald Trump. Racism didn't start with Donald Trump. Black communities have looked the same whether a Republican is in office or whether a Democrat is in office. And if you want to be honest, if you look at the black community, there's no Republican around. Many black cities throughout the nation, not one Republican in sight. They're run by Democrats. So how do we blame racism? And how do we blame the Republicans when there's no Republicans running black communities? Make it make sense. Somebody make it make sense. So are we excusing our failure as black Democrats and black elected officials on racism and Republicans when there's no Republicans running our communities? Because 90% of black people vote Democrat. So in Democratic districts, you're going to have Democrats running in office and elected in office. Republicans don't have a chance. So when there's crime and violence, how do you blame the white man? When there's broken families in your community, how do you blame the white man? When there's lack of public safety and services, how do you blame the white man? Willie D, Tamika Mallory, Jasmine Crockett. How do you do that? See, because I've been fighting for police oversight and fighting against police brutality for over 30 years. And in many, many cases, the majority of the cases, when we're dealing with white cops shooting black people, it's Democrats that are ahead of the municipality and the city government. Let that think in. So, how do we get to this point? And when someone like Stephen A. Smith says, hey, listen, we got to do better and be better, y'all want to attack him when our communities look like hell? See, we need to address those issues. Crockett, you need to bring the same energy to those issues that are in the black community as you do to Donald Trump. And so does Willie D and Tamika Mallory and the rest of the cancel culture Negroes that are out there just using this foolishness for likes and clicks instead of really dealing with the issues in the black community itself. It's not the white man's fault. That's an easy out to our responsibility to ourselves. So here's my challenge to Stephen A. I hope that you invite Jasmine Crockett on the show. You said that you did many times. Jasmine Crockett, I hope you go on the show and y'all have a real conversation. Willie D, my brother, with love, you need to invite Stephen A. on the show. Invite him on the show. Instead of him attacking him, let him put his case on the show. Have a face-to-face conversation. See, we need to start debating face-to-face on the issues instead of showboating on Instagram and X. See, because the goal is not to out-talk each other. It's to outthink the system. And in the win in the system, right now, we not winning. We not winning. I don't care what side you on. We're not winning. So let's learn how to win. Don't you think it's time for us to win? Somebody? And we're not going to win calling Donald Trump racist. No, It proved that he's president. We've been calling him racist for the last 4 years, and he still won. A Nazi and all type of other stuff. So clearly, that's not the avenue to win. Crockett, Mallory, Willie, that's not the avenue to win. Hey, listen, this is Damon K. Jones, and this has been the Publisher's Desk. Make sure you like and share and subscribe. And please go to blackwestchester.com. It's the news with the Black point of view. We're independent Black media. This is our 11th year anniversary of having a newspaper, of actual newspaper. And now we're taking it to the social media algorithm. So please help us out with likes and follows and shares. And thank you again. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and always stay Blacktastic. Peace out.
Tired of the same emotional politics that lead nowhere. Emotional Politics, Logical Failure by Damon K. Jones is the book Black America needs right now. It exposes the lies, challenges the gatekeepers, and calls for real strategy, not just symbolism. Power starts with truth. On sale now and available in audiobook on Amazon.
Tolerance is for Cowards by Damon K. Jones. This book is not anti-police, it's pro-community. Discover how the extended policing strategy empowers you to demand real public safety, justice, and accountability from your local police department. Because the Black community deserves good policing. On sale now on Amazon and Audible. Discover Jesus and Divine Black Masculinity by Damon K. Jones. This a bold blueprint to restore faith, manhood, and purpose in Black America. Because the Black community needs good Black men. Available now on Amazon. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like and share it with others who need to hear the truth. And for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes access, join the Black Westchester Magazine YouTube membership club today. Your support helps us keep independent Black media strong. Support independent Black media with style. Rock Black Westchester merch and represent the news with the Black point of view. Every purchase helps us speak truth to power.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.